Welcome to 5K Yarns podcast with Billo. This is a podcast where the finish line is just the beginning of the story. Every Saturday morning, all around the world, people like you and me gather to walk, jog or run, or just cheer from the sidelines. The guests I have a conversation with attend these parkruns. It forms an important part of their weekly routine. Some attend with their dogs, with prams, and hopefully they've got something in those prams, with their mates, and even with their families. Some just like to attend by themselves. Some chase PBs, some chase community, and some just chase the post-run coffee. After all, it is about the coffee, right? This podcast will share their stories with you. Each episode I sit down with everyday parkrun heroes to hear what this little 5K means to them. Because behind every barcode, there's a yarn worth telling. Lace up, sit down, tune in, and let's go for a run together. Now, before I introduce my guests, we should do a little disclaimer. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on 5K Yarn podcast with Billo belong solely to the host, that's me, and my guest, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organisations, sponsors, or partners. The content shared on this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listener discretion is advised, especially as topics may include strong language. If it's too strong, it'll be edited out, or sensitive material. So today's guest is someone that I've known for some time, where we initially connected via social media. Now, it wasn't through one of those dating social media apps or anything like that, so that's a good thing. It was all focused around a common interest, which was parkrun. Her parkrun journey started on the 22nd of November 2014. During this time, she has completed 340 parkruns at 154 locations in Australia, England and Scotland. She has volunteered 74 times at 18 locations. This means she has attended a parkrun on 387 occasions to date. Her parkrun PB was on the 27th of April 2019 with a time of 27 minutes and 32 seconds at a parkrun located in Victoria called Frog Hollow Parkrun. Now, that's an awesome sounding name, and I'll be doing that in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. Her average finishing time is currently at 40 minutes and 11 seconds. My guest has chosen to use an alias name. She has her reasons for this, and by no means does she have to explain to us the reason why. So for the sake of the podcast, I'm going to refer to her as Karen. Now, do you actually identify as a true Karen?
I do. How you going, Billy? Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, that's okay. We're actually making it happen for the very first time, which is quite exciting. So
Awesome.
I guess let's start getting into the nitty gritty of this. So tell us, what made you get into parkrun?
I guess you went through all my data there, which I can see you've nicely stalked through the 5K app. Now, about 10 years ago, I
10 and a
was
half.
trying to...
10 and a half.
10 and a half. So almost 11. I was dealing with some family information that had come to light that I wasn't able to cope with, and one night I just threw my runners on and I went halfway up the street before I physically felt like I was going to die of exhaustion. But coming back to the house, I was like, hey, I actually feel like I can think about things and handle things more clearly now that I've gone out and had a bit of a run. And then the next time something tried to overwhelm me or consume my thoughts, I put those runners on and I went out the door again, and I might have got 20 minutes further, and then came back and I was like, whatever I'm doing and whatever I'm feeling is making me feel really positive. So fast forwarding a little further down the track, I came across an online running group called Running Mums Australia. And from that, I had met a couple of the girls that used to run out at Diamond Creek Parkrun. And they're like, you got to come to Parkrun. And I was apprehensive. I wasn't a fast runner. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I'm glad I went along. And yeah, did my first park run in November almost 11 years ago at Diamond Creek Park Run. So it's definitely helped mental health. And yeah, all those positive things that come from park run.
Look, I don't think there's too many people that I know that have got into running that haven't used it as a means of dealing with something more so with mental health. Look, I'm included in that list. I've gone through some challenges as well, and it's been that constant. And I think that's where parkrun has been great because it's there every single week generally, unless it's cancelled or whatever going on. But going back to your numbers, you've actually, you've completed a large number of parkruns, and that's a pretty awesome effort because I don't know of too many people. Well, it's funny because, you talk to people and you say to them, oh, yeah, I've done over 100 parkrun locations. They look at you and their eyes just about pop out of their head.
Yeah.
What made you get in? What made you get into parkrun tourism?
I guess once people started talking about becoming a statesman, and I've got a lot of long-term parkrun friends that are really good mates now that all chased the statesman badge or crown a couple of years ago, and I just thought, you know what? I can do that. I love traveling on weekends, and fortunately, I have a company car and have a fuel account, so the cost is reasonably small to get around to other towns, and just choosing family holidays and weekends away based on parkrun locations. And as of today, I am a states person, and I'm also lucky to travel for work. So yeah, I definitely don't book a return flight home on work trips for Friday. They're always Saturday afternoon, so I can do a park run that I haven't done interstate.
And that's good that you got an employer that actually allows that. And I think, I must admit I'm quite lucky enough that I've got a job where, I can use a company vehicle as well to be able to access most of them. So, yeah, I definitely get that. Just for the benefit of the listener, now you mentioned about statesman. Now, just to clarify, what a statesman is an individual that has ticked off every single park run. So they've attended, they've either run or walked every single park run in a given jurisdiction. So for you, you're a victorious statesman, which obviously means that you have completed all 115 current active events in Victoria, which is absolutely awesome effort. And I know I'm still a bit off there, certainly pushing towards there, so don't you worry about that. So it's great. I love the fact that you can get around and look normally. And I'm sure you would agree with this. You see places that you wouldn't normally go to. Some of them you would never probably go back. Let's be honest. You probably would never go back, but at least you can say you've been there.
Absolutely.
Now, if there was one... No, go ahead. You keep going.
We went to Pyramid Hill, which is absolutely in the middle of nowhere in Victoria last week, which was event number 2. And I was talking to one of the locals there last week, and I said, I never knew this place existed, and it is such a great little town. The park run's a little bit tough, but such a great little town. And I always say to my kids, you guys are so blessed, because when I throw you guys in the car on a Friday night and we end up somewhere random, we always do brown sign stops on the way home. So those little brown signs where it might say, "Oh, such and such
the tourist
volcano
drives."
site." Yeah, and I said to them,
Yeah.
you guys are the most travelled 14-year-old twins in Australia because you guys get to go around to all these little towns, 115 towns and suburbs, and they've got to see a lot of Victoria, and likewise I have as well. So why wouldn't you
So do
participate in
they
a little bit of tourism?
so do they enjoy the tourism as much as you?
They mostly do. Sometimes they might stay in the hotel or the tent or what have you. Sometimes I don't give them an option because sometimes, kids need to put the tech down and get out there, but they also love volunteering as well. So, yeah, it's a bit hit and miss,
That's
but yeah.
so. What sort of? I know you're obviously your numbers show that you've volunteered at quite a few different locations. What would be your favourite volunteering role and why?
Um, or can I have two?
Yeah, of course you can. You can have all 10 or 15 or 20, whatever's on the list if you wanted to.
I would have to say that my favourite would have been being an event director. So actually putting in the hard yards to start a park run and then continuing on that park run. But recently, I really enjoy doing tail walker, especially when you've got an out and back course or so forth, where you can really be that encouraging role, cheer people on, still getting out there and, enjoying the role and ticking off park runs as well.
Now, I know there's a bit of history with that role of tail walker with yourself. Now, it's up to you whether you
Yes.
want to mention that history and what
Sure.
happened with that.
Yeah, so for the people who have not long been in parkrun and maybe, within the last 5 to 6 years, the tail walker role was called a tail runner role. And I lobbied hard against Parkrun to have that changed to a tail walker role because I had never done that role and ran a park run at the same time. So we did get the call through that it was going to be changed globally, which was super exciting. And lo and behold, after that, I was at Brimbank Park Run doing the new tail walker role, and I think the last person just ahead of me was running at about a 6.5 minute pace. I had never done that role before, so I did have to run that particular tail walker. I didn't know where the course was going, so I had to keep up with the last participant. So, but yeah, it was really good to see that role change from a tail runner to a tail walker role, which we know now.
Which is quite interesting because now that would have happened, what, probably 5 years ago?
I think so. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Yep.
Maybe a bit longer. Yeah. So obviously, since then, Parkrun Australia have, I think, 2 years ago, promoted walking, and they introduced the park walker role as a volunteer role. And it's actually interesting to see that in the UK, they've recently relaunched the park walker role again. So,
Wow.
look, there is some merit in it, and I've got to say that I've been to many, and I think the most memorable park runs I've been to, the core numbers that have attended have been people that have been in their senior years. Now,
Yep.
obviously, I'm sure you and I've been to park runs where, those people that are senior to us, there's numbers out there that can still run a lot faster than us, but, a majority of them are walkers and they really make it a part of their weekly routine, which is really, that's what it's all about. I mean,
It's
to me, it's about the community. It's not so much going out to getting the best time or necessarily ticking off all the locations. It's about being in a community of people that embrace, I guess, the atmosphere and make it really fun. That's the way I look at it, and I know you do as well in that space.
yep. And
Now,
talking
if there
about the
was any,
aging.
yep,
Oh. So my mum participates every week in parkrun. Now she's just about to turn 76. Her average time is around the 52-minute mark for the 5K. So I love seeing the oldies out there just showing us young ones that, hey, you can still get up and participate every day. For some people, if parkrun was to stop for whatever reason, I know that there's a lot of people in the community that wouldn't have another option to go to. So I love seeing the oldies get out there and getting it done every Saturday.
Yeah, no, look, it definitely brings, I guess, a new enthusiasm to definitely, I get that anyway. And I love seeing them out there pushing themselves as well. And I have met your mum too, and I know I've been to your local park run a number of times, and yeah, she's definitely quite a vibrant person. But also, I've also met your two twins as well, and they're very intelligent, switched on kids for their age. So they're a credit to you, Karen.
They take after their mother.
Now, yeah, well, they've got to get it from somewhere, don't they? Now, if there was one thing that you could change in parkrun, or something that you could bring to parkrun, now it could be serious, it could be whimsical, it could be lighthearted. Is there anything? And I'm sure you have got ideas where you'd love to say, "Hey, I wish parkrun brought this to the table and introduced it worldwide." What would it be?
Yeah, so a controversial one. And Spoon is my nickname. Oh, but
Are
I
you
would
giving too
love,
much away by saying that?
I would love the dog on a waist leash rule to come back. I know that we're far past that rule change, but unfortunately, I think that the minority made it really difficult for the majority that have lost out on being able to have our little Fidos join us. And, I'm just one of those that my dog was trained on a waist leash from, 8 weeks old. So, yeah, and running with a handhold leash is just something that we're not used to. So I'd love to see that overturned. Our chances are probably pretty slim, but something I'd also like to see in light of difficulty trying to get volunteers is maybe some sort of volunteer recognition. It doesn't need to be monetary or prize or anything, but maybe just something to be able to encourage more people to volunteer. You're always going to have your runners that they only want to rock up, run, scan their
Hmm.
token and go home. But something, I don't know, something for the volunteers. And I do love a dress up day and some celebration days. I know that they're not encouraged, but they can definitely bring a lot of light, colour and humour to park runs.
Hmm. Look, it's a shame that as an organisation, um, the the powers do bring in such tight control at times because it's. I guess it comes back to the ethos that it needs to be something that's simple to set up, pull down, and can continue that from week to week. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I definitely agree that there's things there. And talking about the pet one thing I'd love to see, and I guess it would be my added bit to this question, would be for Parkrun to introduce a pet barcode. We've got an A athlete code for the two-legged animals that go out there, but I'd love to see them to introduce a P code. And really, there's no reason why it wouldn't work. You just scan it and your animal gets a token. They're finishing crossing the line with you. So yeah, that would be something that would be fun, I reckon.
I think so too.
Um,
That'd be great.
moving on, is there a dream parkrun destination that you would love to tick off? Now, I know that you've already been fortunate enough to go over to the UK and tick off the what's the word, the park run that everybody wants to go to because it was the very first being Bushy Park. What was
Yep.
your
We
experience
did
there
the
before you answer
pilgrimage.
that question? The pilgrimage, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I was on the tip of the tongue, but I couldn't get it out. The pilgrimage, yeah. So Bushy Park, tell us what you thought of that.
um, Look, I went over there in not good circumstances. Unfortunately, I had to take my dad's ashes over to the UK to scatter him in Broxbourne in the River Lee. But it was an opportunity to go to Bushy Park Run, which was on Christmas Eve, 2 Christmases ago. And it was very emotional for me for so many reasons. Obviously, I have a very close connection to parkrun. I've started a parkrun. I've supported funding for other parkruns. I've met so many amazing people. So just to go back and stand on the turf where it started was very emotional. I did wear my run down under top, and the event director did come over and have a chat to me, and he checked in on me in the finish funnel. So there were about 1,400 people, I think, from memory, 70 volunteers, and from before starting, I thought it was going to absolutely be a nightmare park run. It was so well organized. It definitely runs like clockwork. There were no huge wait times. The course was not busy that you were, bumping shoulders with people. It was just a really phenomenal event with really great volunteers and lots of awesome participants that, wearing your run down under top, they knew where you were from. And yeah, people were really nice. So it was a really good opportunity to make the pilgrimage to Bushy and attend Bushy Park Run, where it all started.